It might be tempting to think that this hydrangea is going so well because I have a green thumb, and just several streets over there is hydrangea which is suffering and nobody knows why. So this video we are going to brainstorm the reasons why your hydrangea might be struggling, because from experience I've learned that hydrangeas actually are not difficult to grow. We just have to figure out what they really need, and then we are rewarded with these gorgeous blooms and beautiful leaves. And by the way, it's going to rain in our garden for 2 days, so we might as well enjoy it. Me under my dinosaur umbrella, and hydrangeas, but of course they love moisture. To many beginner gardeners, hydrangea is just that. At a plant, we buy it, we plant it, and we expect the same results. But actually there are different types of hydrangeas. This one is a very popular old type, Hydrangea macrophylla, big leaf hydrangea. And I don't know the variety. It came to me as a little store plant, one of those that are slowly dying on the shelves. I babied it back to life. It came into my garden as a gift, and now look at this beautiful thing. Happy as anything here. So Hydrangea macrophylla, big leaf hydrangea, was very popular in the past. This is a hydrangea with those beautiful blue blooms everybody are attracted to, and those blooms are usually sensitive to the pH in soil. Some varieties are not, some varieties are just set with the color, so you have to know that. And now this type of hydrangea is being oversold, or another type is more popular because that type is easier to grow. Panicle hydrangeas. I don't grow them. I see a lot of people successfully doing it. I slightly kind of don't like that stiff habit of panicle hydrangeas, but now there are so many different varieties that I might be tempted to grow them, because the hybridization went really into producing new varieties with new habits, new requirements in the garden, making them so easy to grow that they are becoming quite popular. Okay, so these are two very popular types. Then one more I have in the front, which is smooth leaf hydrangea. Not Annabelle. Annabelle is an old version. The approved version is Incredible. So that is Incredible. Incredible hydrangea doesn't have a tendency to flop, although I introduced a fence there. You see that wattle fence, which stops my hydrangea from laying down on the ground. But if that would be Annabelle hydrangea, it would be just laying all from the rain right now, and you will see the bare middle. So instead of Annabelle, always go for Incredible. So that's another type of hydrangea. I also have oak leaf hydrangea, and that hydrangea, I don't pay attention to it. It's doing its own job. And one more which I do not grow is mountain hydrangea. So all these hydrangeas, why is it so important to know what you have? That's the first step. If your hydrangea is suffering, you have to know what type of hydrangea you have, because all of them can tolerate sun differently, can take less water, can be kind of more agreeable to grow, can bloom despite your pruning mistakes, and so forth. So this Hydrangea macrophylla. Issues with blooming, I'm in those 7. So the majority of the pluses and minuses. The pluses of macrophylla is beautiful blooms, gorgeous plant. It is sensitive to frost. So in my zone 7A, if we have late freezing conditions, those buds are damaged. And since this hydrangea blooms on old wood, meaning all the buds are set the previous year, if they die during winter, your hydrangea would not bloom. Although now they're coming up with these beautiful remontant varieties, meaning hydrangeas which can bloom on young wood. But still, it's not perfect situation. So these are the disadvantages of hydrangeas, but how can you deny the gorgeous color? And of course, you see this color coming into pink. My pH of soil is changing because I'm not using artificial fertilizer on the grass, which is generally acidic, making soil more acidic. So my soil is slowly changing moving into a higher pH, which is not really good for roses. Well, I'm working on it. let's go to the front, actually to the side of my garden, and look at smooth leaf hydrangeas. Three hydrangeas in the front, the pink one and the white varieties are Hydrangea arborescens, smooth leaf hydrangeas. And they are beautiful. The positive of them is they're growing, they're blooming on new wood, so no matter how you trim them, they're going to bloom no matter what. And the problem with those is that they are sensitive to lack of moisture in the soil, and generally hydrangeas love moisture. That's number one requirement which you have to give to them. And the most sensitive to lack of moisture would be more beds, right? Then my front hydrangeas, the smooth leaf hydrangeas are also very sensitive to a lack of moisture. So I do have to substitute that area, since some of them are growing in the strip of land between the road and the sidewalk, and that's like a death strip to begin with. But they're also growing with very thirsty maple tree roots. So those hydrangeas, you will see this one. You saw how beautiful it is. And now you're going to see all my mop heads in the front, and you will see the sign of struggles on them. My mop heads at the front. Look at this. Aren't they gorgeous? When they are happy, which is not really happy, this is not really happy, they are wonderful plants. And why these guys are not happy? What are the signs? Look at the drought sign. You see this? And they were more pronounced. Look, you see this? This means my hydrangea is struggling with drought conditions here, and as a result, their flowers are going to age much quicker. They should have been going, like my back hydrangea, right? Mop head at the back, still blooming, but now this hydrangea doesn't have enough of water in the soil to support these luxurious blooms, and they are aging so much faster. Again, this strip, you see this strip? Many years ago, me and my husband planted this soil with different mop head hydrangeas, different names, and we never saved the tags, so I have no idea what type of hydrangeas are these. And this has to be taken out. You see, another sign of drought. Here we go. And this is just a losing battle for me, because maple trees are becoming stronger, and watering is simply not enough in drought conditions. Well, right now we have a lot of rain, so my hydrangeas should be very happy. And here we are. This is a beautiful example of smooth leaf hydrangea, which is native to the United States, south-north of the United States. And look how beautiful they are. And this is not Annabelle, this is incredible hydrangea. Fell from the rain, not much. You don't see the bare center, right? And you see my wattle fence? It's stopping my hydrangeas from falling. This was, again, it was a very successful project I did recently together with repurposed bricks and reused sticks from my own garden. And now my hydrangea is just lovingly resting on this fence. Look, I will show you. I will just raise it up. You see, and everything what's there is staying there. So another bonus is, oh, the rain, the drops from the tree. Everything what is there is staying there. So there is like a woodland condition there. All the leaves, I don't worry about it. Nobody can see it. So that's another good benefit of this fence, since hydrangea loves good, rich soils which have good drainage. So this is another type. This one, look at this pretty thing. I just introduced it, as you know, right? Why this fell? Or maybe from the rain. Look at this color. This is another not smooth, big leaf hydrangea, lace cap, and it attracts a lot of pollinators in my garden. And look at the blue color. It is sensitive to pH, so my soil here is close to the acidic side, and my hydrangea is blue. And it's a beautiful thing here. It's a new introduction, so I'm hoping then in several years this would be a show-stopping corner here. All right, one more hydrangea. There are oak leaf hydrangea, which is probably the least demanding, maybe not as showy, doesn't need a lot of moisture in the garden, and it does its purpose. All right, here, disregard these big containers here, our garbage containers. So you see there, when you look all the way down there, I don't want to go there because it's all wet here. That's only oak leaf hydrangea. I never water it. What it does there, it creates this nice green space and protects our backyard from all the passers-by here, because I don't want people to go and look straight through into our rest area there. So this oak leaf hydrangea is doing just that. It's blocking and creates like a screen to the back garden. And there is one more hydrangea, right? The mountain hydrangea. So these are hydrangea types. I gave you a little tour around the garden. Now let's focus on what those hydrangeas need and how you can brainstorm to just know exactly what needed there to make your hydrangea flourish. Once you know what hydrangea type you have, now it's time to find that hydrangea a right home. What does that mean? The amount of sun. Hydrangeas are famous for not being very sunny plants. They don't like to bake on the sun year-round. And of course, we gardeners love plants which are taking sun, shade, and everything in between. Well, thanks to hybridizers, now we have panicle hydrangeas, and those are your win-win situation. They are indestructible. There are a lot of varieties to different tastes and shapes and sizes, from very small one to the bigger ones to the tree types. So really, if you want a bulletproof plant in your garden, look into panicle hydrangeas. For me, they're a little bit stiff, but again, there are so many varieties coming into the market that there is a plant to please us all, right? So those will take sun better. Mop heads would be the most finicky about sun. They do need that wonderful situation where they have morning sun, afternoon shade. And my hydrangea right here, it has just that. We have an apple tree right here, right? So it has a dappled shade in the morning and then afternoon sun, and as a result, you have this glorious plant. So again, all hydrangeas, they don't like sun, but if you really want sunny conditions and grow hydrangea in the sun, look into panicle hydrangeas. But not everything is about sun. We have a different requirement, like water. Well, hydrangea from Greek means love, water-loving plant. That is for a reason. They do flourish in the not waterlogged conditions. They do not like their feet to be soaked in the water. They do like soil to be well drained, but at the same consistent presence of moisture. And if you don't have that, again, the best thing to look is into oak leaf hydrangeas and panicle hydrangeas. Again, panicle hydrangeas are the best on the market for that. My mop heads, they are gorgeous ones, and because this mophead hydrangea is growing here right near the source of water where we're all having dinners and everything else in between, I pay attention to this hydrangea, and it has wonderful moisture here almost all the time. And because our soil is sandy here in the southern part of Connecticut, that moisture is not creating waterlogged conditions. And this hydrangea, look how beautiful it is. It is wonderfully blooming there. Well, water, right? Water alone doesn't make hydrangea happy, or any other plant, just water. A lot of gardeners reach, either if they see the drooping leaves, they are reaching right away to the water or maybe fertilizer. Well, the soil. The healthy soil, this is like a mantra in my garden. The healthy soil will make the best plants and will eradicate all the headache from, from a gardener's head. So what is a healthy soil? Healthy soil is natural soil, no artificial fertilizers, a lot of organic matter, because organic matter makes soil rich, deep. The soil, if it's clay soil, adding organic matter will improve the drainage. Adding organic matter to my soil, which is sandy soil, again will hold the moisture in a little bit better. So the compost, aged manure, shredded leaves, whatever you can add into that soil is great. And hence I'm advising everyone to do their own composting, like I'm doing in that corner. You can't see it right now, but we have like a You see that black thing right there? We have like a composter, so all kitchen compost goes there. And then under this very beautiful holly tree, oh, look at the butterfly. It came to my butterfly bush. Oh, so great. So all my composting unsightly mess is hidden under this holly tree, which nobody can see, and I recycle that compost, and a good amount of it goes to my hydrangeas, because my hydrangeas love deep fertile soil. Well, you do have good amount of sun, you do have good soil, but your hydrangeas are still not happy, and a lot of gardeners are reaching into fertilizer. Recently somebody asked me, what do you do? How often do you fertilize your hydrangeas? Every week? No, my hydrangeas just receive a dose of fertilizer in spring, and that's it. They can take care of themselves. There is no need to fertilize hydrangeas a lot, especially with nitrogen. And I must say that I do like to apply a little bit of nitrogen to my garden in spring, not much, maybe 1/5 of a dose, as you know, to keep everything lush and blooming happily. I really don't do a lot of it around my hydrangeas because I don't want them to push that green growth and cover all the flowers in between those new shoots which do not carry blooms. So only in spring we do fertilization, and then we don't pay attention to hydrangea at all with fertilizers. There is enough sun for your hydrangeas, dapple shade, there is beautiful soil, you use the fertilizers in spring, and there is no bloom at the end of spring. What is going on? Well, pruning is probably the biggest mistake. Different hydrangeas bloom on different wood. That's why it's important to know what type of hydrangea you have. Mopheads, majority of them, especially older varieties, are blooming on old wood, meaning that they set those buds the year before, and if you prune them at the beginning of spring, you cut all those flowering buds. I see so many hydrangeas in my area here in southern Connecticut with no blooms, and I'm thinking, okay, probably the buds were damaged by the severe frost, and the gardener came in and just made a nice round shape of their hydrangeas, and now they lost all the blooms. So if you are living in zones like me 7A, which is questionable, you know, majority of mophead hydrangeas are good to zone 5. It doesn't work that way. If we have late frost, we do lose those flowering buds. So if you don't want to worry about pruning, when to prune, how to prune, go for smooth leaf hydrangeas and panicle hydrangeas. They bloom on new wood, they form buds that year, you can trim them to shape you want, and they will still bloom for you. With oak leaves and big leaves, mopheads, that's a question. Although again, mopheads now, the hybridizers are coming up with varieties which are blooming on new wood as well. So it's very important to know which variety you are buying or which variety is there in the garden, right? Sun is out, pollinators are out already, I can see. Look at this, the flower. Oh, I spooked him away. Oh, he's going to look for another flower, the bumblebee. All right. So at the end of this video, I wanted to talk about this Liebig's law of minimum in botany. What is it? It is when all the demands of the plant is met. There are all the fertilizers, everything, but one critical element is missing. Plant will not thrive, right? So there is a famous picture of the barrel which is missing one of the planks, and all the water is not filling the barrel because that plank is missing or it's very short, so water escapes. As a result, the barrel is not full because one plank is low and is letting all the water escape. So the same with our plants. If one thing is missing, no matter how much fertilizers you put, no matter how much sun you give the plant, but you don't know exactly what that plant misses, then the plant is not going to thrive. So this is our job. If we have a struggling hydrangea or any other plant in the garden, we have to try to figure why, find that missing link, improve it, and then our plants would be so much happier and we will be happy gardeners. Look at all my plants, wet with all the Ah, gosh, with all the water in the garden. But it looks so good, doesn't it? Even this drooping nature. Ooh, love it. All right, my dear gardeners. If you like these conversations among my plants, please do subscribe because there are many more happening soon. Happy gardening!